On December 6, 1989,
A quiet winter
evening in Montreal turned into
one of the darkest nights in modern Canadian history.
inside the École Polytechnique. A gunman walked through the halls with a single intention to hunt women.
What began as a normal school day became a moment that forced the entire world to confront one of humanity's oldest and most silent forms of violence. He entered a classroom, separated the men from the women,
And declared that women were the problem, that they were taking too much space, too many opportunities, too many dreams. His words were filled with a cold kind of hatred that does not appear. Suddenly it grows from
years of quiet anger, social neglect, and unseen prejudice, and within minutes, that hatred exploded into violence.
14 women, future engineers, leaders, daughters, were killed simply because of their gender. To understand why this happened, you must look deeper than the man who pulled the trigger. The root cause was an invisible battlefield that had existed long before.
December 6th, decades of unchallenged misogyny.
Small jokes that were never corrected, unfair systems that normalized discrimination, and a world that told women they were allowed to study,
but not always welcome. The Montreal Massacre happened
because a society that does not
confront its smaller forms of hatred
eventually meets them in their biggest form. The impact was immediate and global.
Canada froze in shock.
The entire world watched as a developed, peaceful country became a symbol of how violence
against women is not a problem of culture,
or race, or class. It is a human problem. Countries began re-evaluating their gun laws. Universities started implementing new security protocols. Movements against gender-based violence gained international momentum.
December 6th became a day of remembrance, but also a painful mirror for every society. The positive side, if any, can be found in tragedy is that the massacre forced
nations to speak openly about
issues they once ignored. Women's safety, toxic masculinity, inequality, and the silent suffering many face in their daily lives.
Laws changed, conversations began, and a new global awareness was born.
The negative side is the unbearable truth that 14 young women had to die
before the world listened. Their dreams ended before they even began, and their families still carry a grief that time cannot erase.
Why does this matter to our lives today? Because violence does not begin with bullets.
It begins with words, with beliefs, with the things people say behind closed doors. It begins when society excuses small wrongs. It begins when we allow hatred to go unchallenged.
The Montreal Massacre reminds us that silence is never neutral,
that every generation must choose whether it will continue the patterns of the past
or break them. And even now, decades later,
countries around the world continue to struggle with gender-based violence.
Every time a woman fears walking home alone, every time she is told she is less capable, every time she is interrupted, dismissed, or underestimated,
history whispers the same warning. This is where it begins. What happened on December 6th is not just a Canadian story, it is a human story.
It teaches us that equality is not a destination, but a fight that must be renewed every day. It asks every viewer, every society,
every generation, will you choose silence, or will you choose change? History is not old, history is living inside us. One day, one event, one lesson.
Mr. Feedy.